Imagine being an artist with artwork that is so beautiful and so popular. Everybody loves your work to the point where they took it and repurposed it for everything under the sun. And then now nobody knows it belongs to you. And then even more people are stealing it because that freaking sucks. And that is the story that we're going to delve into today. So this is a post by artist Hannah.k.l, and it is involving this artwork they made. And on first glance, oh my God, first off, that is so cool. But two, I have seen this everywhere and I never knew who the original artist was. Because when work gets so popular and too many people steal and co-opt it, what happens is credit to the original artist gets diluted and eventually lost. And that is kind of what happened to this piece.
I made this artwork in 2022. It has been copied and stolen countless of times since then. Here are 80 examples. And one of the copies that upsets me the most is this one. It's a blanket made by this company from Turkey. They're called Figure, and the owner seems to be very conscious of how their products are manufactured, but she seems to have no problem stealing from artists to create her designs. I emailed them in August 2024, sent a reminder the next month, and another reminder in March this year. And to be extra nice, I gave them one last chance to respond before making this post, so I also DM'd them. Nothing but silence. So here we are. I wanted to share for my own sake to get some kind of justice for this, but also it's a warning for you guys because everything is not 100% ethically produced, because stealing is not ethical. And as you saw, they have absolutely no interest in making their mistake right. And the reason why this particular case upsets me so much is because I actually really like the blanket. And it's my colors that I could have chosen if I designed a blanket, and the motif works so well for this purpose. She could have easily hired me to do this or asked to license this design. I would have done it for cheap because it's a small brand. The blankets are made by local women and she's trying to support the cultural heritage. And it's really cute. I would have loved to get the opportunity to do this. But now the blanket already exists without my permission. And if another company reached out to me and asked me to make a blanket, it wouldn't be unique if this is what I wanted to do. And this is just one of many reasons why art theft damages the intellectual property owner. It dilutes and weakens my unique expression, so it's no longer unique, and it devaluates my work. And sure, some of you might think, but it's just simple flowers. But if it's just simple flowers, how come she couldn't draw her own flowers instead of tracing over mine? Clearly, for these particular flowers and other similar artworks of mine to be copied so many times, they obviously have something worth stolen. So maybe they're not just simple flowers. And I would know because I'm the one who spends time on them.
Everything this artist said is straight facts and straight bars. 100% agree. Because a lot of people in the comments were devaluing her work, which first off is so freaking rude because if it's so easy, then why didn't you just come up with your own idea? Why didn't you make this? It was her idea. She came up with it and it's so popular. Everybody's using it obviously because they like it, because they think it's cool. So I think devaluing it as it's just some simple flowers is so fucking rude. That other aspect that this artist talked about is so freaking true too, because she has a very unique style that looks beautiful. But exactly this, if a company reached out and wants to do an exclusive blanket run with her, well, it's going to be harder to sell that exclusive collab because some product that is similar already exists. It exists without the original artist's permission, but now that it's in the market, it would make it harder for her work to sell in this collab. It impacts the artist in this way. It also impacts the artist because, again, everybody purchasing that flower blanket from that brand is only going to attribute it to that brand. So any sort of following recognition the artist could have gotten is not going to be given to the artist, even though they deserve it. They're going to think the brand came up with it themselves. And then you might be like, oh, well, you're just being clout chasing, whatever. At the end of the day, following and building an audience, it helps the artist make money. And come on, let's be real. The economy right now sucks. And my bad for wanting artists to go make money, right? More followers means more potential sales this artist can make, more eyes on their work, more exposure, and that's going to give them more opportunities. But all of that is being denied because their work is being falsely attributed to other people. Or, oh, I found it on Pinterest, which is the worst one of all because we all know Pinterest gives zero credit whatsoever. Also, a lot of people were putting links like this in the comment section being like, well, it's not your work because your work is just ripped off the artist Matisse. And then the artist has this to say.
But I have actually never looked at his work for inspiration, and as a matter of fact, my work doesn't even resemble his work that much. However, I get why people that rely way too much on what they see online would think so, because this is my artwork. This, not Matisse, it's my artwork. Also not Matisse, my artwork. This one is also originally my flowers, not Matisse. So no, I did not copy or rip off Matisse. This is random shitty people that stole my work, put a trendy name on it because they realized that they could profit off of it. Most posters that you see with the name Matisse on them actually has absolutely nothing to do with him. Here are some more examples of prints that have like a similar aesthetic to my work, and they're not even close to the original Matisse. So the next time you have the urge to comment bullshit like this, do some research first. That's all. Thanks.
That is awful. And I feel so bad for this artist because, like, to not only have your work stolen a bajillion times beyond that blanket, but we just saw even more examples of their work being stolen, but to have your name ripped off of the artwork and falsely attributed to somebody else. It's the erasure of the original artist that created the work. The false attribution is going to create so much misinformation, like what you're seeing exactly right here, where all of that work is being falsely attributed to a different artist, Matisse, when it was created by her. And then it's causing people to leaving these dumb comments in her comment section, like, oh, your work is like Matisse, linking an image that is literally her work with Matisse's name on it for some reason. And for some more examples, here is this artist page, and here are the prints that they sell, which I highly recommend you check out because their art is absolutely stunning. And oh my god, I need some of these for my walls. This is so pretty. If you go to MoMA, here are examples of Matisse's work. Closer up example. We're not seeing these attributed to Matisse. All right, but another option is Matisse did a whole bunch of paper cutouts. It was displayed in a bunch of museums like the MoMA. These are examples of Matisse's paper cutouts. More examples. So yes, maybe there are some similarities and essences to the styles. The artist says they didn't reference Matisse. But again, like regardless of people purposely trying to argue a moot point, these are the artist's original works. None of the flowers are actually attributed to Matisse by a museum or anything like that, aka by a credible source. Also, some people were being like purposely ignorant in the comments, so the artist added extra context about copyright. Copyright is automatic, and the moment somebody creates original work, they instantly own the copyright. In this case, where people copy my copyrighted work, the copyright still belongs to me. It doesn't matter if the flowers are simple or not unique. It is still an original artwork that came from my imagination. Yep, I agree. That is the copyright law, at least in the US. If you make artwork, it instantly belongs to you. That is your copyrights. And if somebody traces what you drew one to one, they are stealing from you. I think a lot of people are missing the absolute point. I feel like a lot of people on the internet purposely want to be contrarian just to, I don't know, be able to argue something for the sake of arguing rather than, I don't know, just listening. But these specific flowers in these specific shapes in this specific composition is this artist's work. If you draw 3 flowers on a piece of paper, that's chill. Those are your 3 flowers. As long as you didn't trace this artist's work. And the artist adds, you know, you can't obviously copyright basic polka dots or stripes. Those are fundamental building blocks, which I think it's honestly absurd the artist has to say this in the first place because people are purposely being ignorant. But what did the blanket brand have to say? They left a comment saying, we shared a statement on our page, but we also want to comment here. You have every right to feel upset, and we made a huge mistake assuming a floral image was anonymous because we saw so many similar versions. We would never knowingly or deliberately use another artist's work. We saw the email late because it went into our spam folder, and when we finally became aware, we immediately removed the product and has never been sold or promoted since. We believe this was the right and respectful thing to do and a sign of good faith. Nearly 2 years later, seeing this video has been genuinely upsetting for us as well. That said, we don't dismiss the artist's feelings in any way. We fully understand why the situation would be painful and frustrating for them. So if you go to the Rugs page, they don't have a statement to their page, but they have one in their story highlights, where they again highlight that they should have researched the artwork more carefully, and once they became aware, they immediately stopped production. And they are very sorry for the frustration it's caused and reached out to the artist directly. And they're aware of copyright gray areas that can exist around widely circulating visuals, and they want to make it clear this situation does not reflect their current collections or design approach in any way. So what are your thoughts about that? Again, don't send hate to any parties involved, right? Don't bully people. That is rude and not cool. I just think it's interesting that like a lot of people and companies, and maybe it's a bit of an ignorant take, right? They have the assumption, oh, well, I saw this graphic circulating online and I see it in so many places. I didn't know there was an original artist. And unless it was AI generated, right, there is going to be an original artist that artwork traces back to, even if it is so widely circulated that the original artist's name disappeared into thin air from erasure of all the reposting and reusing of the work. There is an original artist at the end of the day. It's a bit, I feel, ignorant to kind of be like, I didn't know, but maybe they genuinely didn't know. I would love to hear your thoughts about the situation at the end of the day. And please, 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 for the love of God, please let's support the original artist, Hannah. Their work is absolutely stunning. And if you want gorgeous wall art or prints, their work, I highly recommend you go and check out. And while we're on the same breath about like artwork being taken, I have a couple more stories. So we have another story by this artist who made this really pretty artwork of Powder and Echo from Arcane or Jinx and Echo. And this is so pretty. It went really viral on Twitter. They posted it April 30th. It got 30,000 likes. Everybody's complimenting it, saying how gorgeous it is because it is. And then they made an update post writing, "Hi, some freak on Instagram stole my work, ran it through AI, and then uploaded it to their account. Disgusting. First is mine." And as you can see, this one is again their artwork, right? For their accounts. I can't pronounce their name. Rudine? And this is the work that got run through AI and chopped up. That is so violating to not only have your artwork stolen, but to also have it run through AI as well in the theft process. That sucks. And then they added an update. She blocked me. I don't know if she ended up deleting my art. I also mentioned that her whole Instagram account was full of stolen art, and well, I guess she didn't like that. And another person added, she wrote in her story that she found the photo on Pinterest. Dang. I tried looking for this account and it's gone. I don't know if they renamed or something like that, but I cannot find this account anymore. So again, don't go and bully and harass anybody, but please support the original artist. This is their handle. Again, I have a hard time pronouncing it, Rudine, but it's with a 4 instead of an A. So I'll have them linked down below. Their art is absolutely gorgeous if you would like to go and check them out. And we have another one. This is Space Elf Art on Twitter writing, "This person fed my commission work into an AI image generator and created a false and ugly line art to act like they painted this piece, which I did for my clients." So this is their artwork. Absolutely beautiful, stunning. Oh, so cute. And then this is the fake AI line art that they generated to try to make it look like they made the art piece themselves. Dude, the scammers are like evolving, man. Beyond faking speed paints, they're reverse engineering line arts to go try to clout chase and make it look like they made the art piece themselves. And for extra context, the artist added, "My commissioner didn't do this, guys. It was a random scammer online that stole the image. We are both being impacted by this, just to clarify." And after all of this, it was taken down. That account actually still exists on TikTok, but there's no post on that account now. So they probably just purged themselves after getting called out for their scammery. So please send love to this original artist, the Space Elf, because getting your artwork stolen sucks. And with that, please check out all the original artists. I'll have them all linked down below and show them all the love they deserve, because having your art stolen sucks. Never okay. And it sucks that it's happening more and more, I feel. And with that, if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers, creators, content creators, emotes, overlays, you know, all the good shebang and all of that. I also have a coffee with free resources like a free sponsorship guide. Yippee! And I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. PST. I'm about to go to Vancouver, so I'll be having some fun there. So with that, I hope to catch you guys in my streams or in another video. Peace. No makeup post-filming cat coming back in, because I originally missed the reply that the artist left under the Blanket brand, but after hearing the artist's extra context, there's no way they missed 3 different emails and DMs reminding them about the situation. How convenient that you literally ignored everything for over a year, was still listing the blanket on your website, and then conveniently all of a sudden you respond only when the artist makes a public post about it. I like to give the benefit of doubt, and sometimes that frustrates you guys, but I like to give the benefit of doubt. But this honestly is a situation where it's kind of hard to believe, right? You didn't see any of those emails, you also didn't see the DM, and you somehow coinkydink thought that it was an anonymous artist that made the art piece. Come on, art doesn't spawn out of nowhere. There is an origin point. Either some AI slot machine made it, or a human drew it themselves. You can't just go around the internet yoinking any image you see and then slapping it on products and selling it. That is just like business acumen 101, where you need to find the source material or you're gonna get yourself in some copyright and IP trouble.